So I haven't tried to do a video breakdown of the CRAnger yet, so even though this is a build in progress, I thought I would break it down and explain what everything is and what everything is going to be. So I'll start here, which is the custom trellis frame made by Manny Guerrero, this beautiful frame here. Um, the back end of it has some part of the CR80R that it came from, 2001 CR80R. The forks are also, and the stem are all off of that CR80R. That's where the cray comes from in CRAnger. Now, the front wheel is currently a 17-inch knobby. It will have a street setup, which will be a 17-inch with a street tire on it, and a 14-inch with a street tire on the back. But right now it's a 17 with the knobby, which will never happen. Eventually, it will be a 19-inch with a knobby and a 19-inch with a trials, and a trials tire for the rear, with a knobby tire for off-road stuff. But the trials tire will probably stay on the rear almost all the time, both street and off-road. Same with the 19 front with the trials. It'll probably be on the bike most of the time. The 17 makes it feel a lot zippier, and it's a lot more fun at about 20 miles an hour, like carving on a bike path. But the 19 is just way better off road. The bike is just super stable with the 19. You can go and do anything with it. It's beautiful. Just give it some gas and go over everything. So down the we've got the adjustable clamps here, and so there's actually quite a bit of room for when the different tires are on to keep the geometry kind of in line. Now that's another thing, is that I'm going to have to fix the rear suspension, possibly with an inch link, to knock up the ground clearance. Just everything goes up an inch on the back. So when I designed this, I gave the specs for the ground clearance based off of the suspension, and the floorboard was meant to be attached to the bottom of the frame. And what I didn't realize was that the linkage comes below the floorboard. So that can actually scrape right now, until I figure something out to fix it. So like I said, I may try lifting the rear an inch. It'll definitely mess with the geometry. So I'll have to see if I like that or not. It may be better. And I'm also getting another swing arm that is going to cut off 2 inches, and I'm going to see how that feels too. I think that'll probably be part of the street setup. So yeah, it'll have a lot of adjustability as far as if you want it set up as a street scooter, or if you want it set up as an off-road scooter, however you want to do. It should be able to do it all pretty well, probably better than any scooter that exists right now. So the battery here was also custom built by Manny Guerrero. Quasar Lithium is his battery company, and it's beautiful. As you can see, custom welded, custom shaped. So the whole thing with this build is to put the the battery weight in front of the motor instead of on top of the motor in a pit bike sized vehicle. So normally if you were going to convert one of these, you'd need to put the battery up here and all that weight would be up there. And so instead it's all down here in an area that doesn't even exist in a motorcycle frame. So it's something unique. And while we're pointing here, we have the custom floorboard built by Manny. We played around with this a little, and I believe we have much better deflection angles than what's on the Kuberg Ranger. I have already hit a lot of things with it, and the way it handles it is much better. It's much wider than the Kubergs, and it hits a lot more stuff. And I guess it's really good that it hits stuff good, because if it didn't, I'd probably be going over the bars. The Kuberg threw me probably 4 times where the front floorboard caught something. As you can see, it just kind of sticks out there. Like if you're going up a hill and there's a stump, you just catch right on it, and the bike will just completely stop and you fly over the bars. And if you're wearing gear like I was, it's not too bad. So that is the floorboard. Now on top of the battery here, we have this very mean looking Volto EM200/2 controller. That is tuned with 3 different modes. The map 3 is 250 amps, so that's about 20 kilowatts is what the tune is. And then that's going to the QS motor right here, the QS 138 V3. Which is an amazing little motor. I say little, it weighs 25 pounds. Like if you're familiar with like a Sur-On, it weighs twice as much as a Sur-On motor. And I'm a big proponent of motor weight is how much power you can push through a motor. Fight me. As far as electrics go, you just can't really make a more powerful motor without making it heavier. You can optimize and get 5% here and 6% there, but a 20-pound motor is always going to beat a 15-pound one in my book. So but yeah, that's a 25-pound motor. It's a pig, but the gear reduction is also in there. So if you don't know about the QS 138 V3, it has a gear reduction built right in. See, the shaft would be right here, but instead it has this gear reduction right here, and it's great for like doing a dirt bike where you keep the original rear end with the sprocket, and you keep the original chain drive with no jack shaft, and yeah, it just works like a motorcycle, and it's lovely. I've been dealing with that Kuberg and its jack shaft and all that mess. It's killing me. And so yeah, that's a big part of why I built this thing, is this chain right here and this standard motorcycle drive, and suspension and brakes. Basically all the moto parts is what I needed. But what I have had problems with is, this is a 46 2 sprocket, and I can't find another that small. So I'm gonna have to put a bigger front sprocket on it, so I can put a bigger rear sprocket on it and kind of keep the gearing the same. The gearing needs to change a little for the on and off road, not just because I want different speeds for both, but also the wheels are quite a bit different. My biggest knobby, which is bigger than this one, it's a 3.6 inch wide knobby, is quite a bit bigger around than like the trials tire or full-on street tire. So this is a 14-inch rim back here. No matter what configuration, I have the 14-inch back here. Eventually, whenever I figure out the suspension problem and the bottoming out, there'll be either a shock that goes in, a street shock, that when I switch to the street mode, the street shock goes in, and then it lowers the rear by an inch to match that little 17-inch. Because right now, when you ride it, it's sitting kind of down in the front. It rides kind of forward, and with the 19, it's perfectly balanced. So yeah, eventually, when I go from the dirt kit to the street kit, it'll probably be a shock swap that happens, and maybe like a link or something that comes out. But I'm not exactly sure, because I need to lower the ground clearance by an inch or two, and also still keep this thing from hitting. So. And one of my ideas for it not hitting is raising the ground clearance. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I could also adjust all of that out in the shocks, especially if I have a shorter swing arm to play with, and see how that goes. But anyways, yeah, other highlights include the moto brakes. Haven't figured out a fender solution yet. I ride this on bike paths, so I can't have a big moto fender. That's what it came with: a moto fender and a number plate. But neither one of those work for where I'm trying to stealth ride. But yeah, moto brakes, love them, miss them. As far as how this thing is going to look, the trellis frame here, all of this steel frame and the white here will be orange. The box and the floorboard are going to stay how they are. All the silver stuff that I'm saying staying silver is actually just getting recoated silver. It's going to be coated with a chrome and then coated with a matte clear to make it look like brushed again. The rims will stay silver. The hubs will be orange. Front hub will be orange, and there'll be the spring will be orange, and there'll be some teal highlights that will be probably like the calipers, the brake calipers. Maybe the sprocket right there. Maybe the chain guard, kickstand spring, front brake calipers. Those will be teal highlights. The triple clamps will be teal highlights also. So yeah. That's about all I got on it for now. Hopefully, I'll have this thing done by my birthday on November 12th, and the big Suron ride in Houston. Shout out to Tejano Scott and all the Houston guys that'll be out there riding. So there's the video breakdown. Everything you might have wanted to know about the CRAnger. So there you go.